Over the last years or decades, it became increasingly clear that we as the inhabitants of the wealthy countries consume far more resources than what would be sustainable. And food and agriculture plays a surprisingly big role here. So how we eat and what we eat can ultimately have a quite big impact on whether or not our lives become globally more sustainable. For the last 10 years, I worked as a researcher in between physics and biology, and now decided that I would like to use my skills to develop and produce more sustainable, more delicious and more pretty sweets and candy. Sounds like a big step, but I actually realized that developing vegan caramel recipes was not so much different from the lab work that I was used to. I found myself calculating recipes and making test series at home. And the best thing was that I could finally eat the results of my work, and I could easily share it with family and friends. So I finally decided to start my own candy lab. My transition from physics to candy was not as sudden as it might sound. Over the last 3 years, I spent a lot of time to learn more about the world of chocolate, caramel and sweets. I went through many science articles and books, and I talked to food scientists, environmentalists, cooks and chocolate makers. And I learned a lot about the actual small-scale candy making from working with traditional chocolatiers. As good as many of the more traditional high-quality sweets are, most of them make heavy use of dairy ingredients, such as caramels and toffees, which get their delicious flavor and richness mostly from the use of cream and butter. Those ingredients, however, are coupled to a very high use of resources and greenhouse gas emissions. Unfortunately, good alternatives of similar quality often don't exist. At KAENDI, we were now able to find new recipes that make up for probably even more delicious caramels and candies without using any animal-based ingredients. As you can see, we are currently doing all of this by hand in quite small batch. With your help, we would like to make the next step to a slightly bigger and more effective production. And the best thing is, you can do so just by eating our candy bars, or of course by giving them to your friends. If you now would like to support us, you can do so by becoming a supporter of this crowdfunding campaign. With this, you will not only help us to set up our first production, but in return you can also get first candy bars or caramels yourself. So I really hope you enjoy them, and thank you very much.